Hey guys, how are you doing today? I am doing content. I am content today. I have still been waking up really anxious. Anxiety, I have nighttime and morning time anxiety mainly. In the morning, I just feel super, like my stomach is super tight. I feel super like, I don't know what's going on. And like I have to calm myself down through my meditations and, drinking a good cup of coffee, talking it out. Then I unwind and then it comes back around 9-10 p.m. and I'm just like, but thankfully, like normally people are always home when I'm waking up and going to bed, so I can like calm myself down. It's normally when I'm by myself in Source. That was a very long how are you, but I'm doing content. But in today's video, I really wanted to talk to you guys about how I realized I had no love for myself. I maybe had about 10% of self-love. And I'm going to tell you guys the story of how I realized how much I lack self-love, and then obviously how I ended up here due to self-love. So let's get going. Well, self-love is a very interesting topic because I don't think there's a very clear picture on what self-love is supposed to look like. I was reading a book on communication, and the author talked about how sometimes big words like peace, sometimes that has a different meaning to so many different people. So that's where like communication gets really messed up with certain words. I think self-love is one of those words. It's just like when you think of table, you can instantly visualize a table like just in 2 seconds. But peace, your brain has to be like, oh, people, protesting, hugging, like there's just so many different things that come to mind when it comes to peace. And I think self-love is one of those words. And with one of those words, you really have to paint the picture of what you are talking about. And it's also a very hard term for a lot of people to grasp because there's just not one specific picture that people see when they hear self-love. So I want to give you guys my back history and my definition of self-love today. Back in the day, when I used to think of self-love, like let's say maybe 5 years ago, I used to think like, you liked the skin you were in, you thought you were pretty, you did a face mask every now and then, you did your nails, and you blah, 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 blah. But I think self-love now that I'm so much more deeper into this mental health journey and self-love journey, my definition of self-love now is by literally taking care of yourself as if you are your own child. Like literally taking care of yourself so well that no one can phase your self-love and your self-worth. I used to be a person that took care of myself. I got my hair done, I got my nails done, I was always put together well, but I hated myself. So I didn't understand how that was self-love at the end of the day. So once I started digging deeper into self-love, I realized that self-love is fully accepting yourself for what you are and embracing all your good qualities and making the most out of them. Self-love is giving yourself your truest potential, and by chasing after your dreams and making sure that you take care of yourself better than anyone in this world can ever take care of you. And that's a really hard job because that's so much easier said than done, because as you guys know, I just got a relationship, and I got out of this relationship because I realized how much self-love I lacked. I realized that anytime this boy asked me to do anything, I would say, if he said jump, I would say how high. Like in 2.5 seconds, I wouldn't even second guess myself. I wouldn't second guess what he wanted. I would just do it. But then for myself, I would constantly come up with excuses as to why I don't need to do that for myself, or if I don't have enough time. But for other people, I was so willing to do it so fast, no questions asked. But for myself, I wasn't doing anything. And that to me is self-hate, not self-love. Because if I were to have given myself those things at those time, I would have more to give to other people. But when you like lack so much self-love and then you're trying to give the little bit of self-love that you have away to other people, it's just like you're running on fumes of love and it doesn't feel good. Excuse me. Also, I'm sure you guys, if you guys are into this channel and you know me and we have a relationship, you guys know that I struggled with my relationship with my dad for quite some time. And I recently allowed him to come back into my life just for like one meeting. And during that meeting, he explained to me how children that have been molested, the first thing they let go of is their dental hygiene. And there was something about that statement that literally messed with my head so much deeper, because I'm going to admit something to you guys, and this is kind of gross, but just know I've grown from this person. And yeah, but when I was like 14, 15, 16, I just completely gave up all of my hygiene. Like I didn't care. I didn't take care of my hygiene whatsoever. I didn't wash my hair. I didn't brush my teeth. I didn't take a shower. I barely changed my clothes. Like I literally was disgusting. And thankfully, like I grew out of that phase, and I think it's because like I have more self-love for myself than that now. But I do have those moments, and I was starting to have those moments and those days again where like I wasn't taking care of myself, and I was really just, you know, not doing anything. That if I were to have a child, like I would never let my child not brush their teeth, brush their hair, take a shower, make their room, make their bed, clean the house. Like it's just, that's not self-love, like that's self-hate. So in that relationship, I had to like go back to the drawing, which you guys can see in the videos. Like I all of a sudden started doing my hair and makeup again because I was like, this is self-love. This is what makes me feel good. I was doing my morning affirmations. I was starting to work out again. And like I said, I just realized in that relationship that like I was never going to be able to love myself in that relationship because I loved him way more than myself. And that's another thing of self-love. It's when you realize that like you have to put yourself first once in this lifetime. You don't have to do it your whole life. Like once you're married, once you have children, like that's a different story. But like while you're young and while you're figuring out your life, like you have to take the time to love yourself first. That way when you do get a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you won't be an insecure person. You will think highly of yourself and you will embrace them and you will be confident in yourself and you will be secure in yourself. Rather than when you don't have any self-love, you're just like, how does this person even look at me? How does this person even love me? And it makes it pretty toxic because you need self-love to love others. It's pretty, you know, self-explanatory, but a lot of us just don't know how to do it. Like yesterday, I was watching the video I made for you guys, and I'm realizing, again, I'm not giving myself self-love. I do this thing where I just don't drink water and I don't drink juice all day, and I end up getting so dehydrated. And it's like, how do I do this to myself? Like, how do I literally not drink water? Like, how sad is that? That is so sad. My body needs water. Like, we need water, and I will literally deprive myself from water. Like, I'm drinking this before I'm drinking a bottle of water, and that is self-hate, like prime example. And I actually had, like, I was watching the video of myself yesterday, I was just seeing how dry my mouth and my face is because of how much water I'm just not drinking. And that is another prime example of how I'm self-hating myself and not loving myself. So today I'm going to try to start drinking at least a gallon of water again. Even if I have to pee 1,000 times, it doesn't matter. Like, my body needs water and I need to stop dehydrating myself. And self-love is being true to yourself, like just being ultimately super honest with yourself, because that's what you have to do with self-love. Like, you have to stop lying to yourself, because I lie to myself a lot and I make a lot of excuses for people a lot. Like, I'm ultimately a little too optimistic and a little too positive sometimes. And I just really had to be real and raw with myself and said, hey girl, are you really loving yourself? Because someone that loves themselves would definitely drink water. And it's actually really sad because right now my roommates are, they'll knock on my door or they'll see me come home and they'll be like, did you eat today? And I started being honest with them and I was like, no, I didn't. And then they'll like go and make me something. And it's the fact that like people are even realizing like how much self-hate I can give myself by like not even eating for hours and days, because sometimes I just don't even have enough self-love to make myself a meal because I'm just so stuck in my head. And especially during this breakup, it's making me realize like how much I don't love myself. Even though I'm preaching about self-love, I am struggling with self-love so intensely, it's not even funny. But I'm documenting it so you guys can see the path of what my version of self-love looks like. And honestly, being honest with yourself is number one. Like, when you're not loving yourself. When you're not taking care of yourself. You know it because it feels not right in your heart. Like, when you walk into a messy room, like something doesn't feel right. But then when you walk into like a clean, crisp, beautiful room, you feel like you can breathe. And like that's the difference. Like you can tell when you're self-hating yourself, when you feel tight and when you feel like something's not right. And then you feel self-love when you feel light and when you feel like you're breathing. And I'm striving for that more because I am being honest with myself more than I've ever been honest with myself in the past. That is for sure. So again, in my eyes, self-love is not putting on a face mask and getting your nails done, getting your hair done. Those are like surfaced, continuous things that we do to make ourselves feel good. But like self is like you and your thoughts and your minds. That to me is more so self-love these days rather than the outside. Don't get me wrong, getting your hair done, your nails done, face mask, all that is like self-care and self-love as well. But I think my version of self-love is so much more deeper than that stuff now. Because now I'm like getting into like the real self-love, knit and grittiness of my life. Self-love is honestly the most beautiful thing you can do for yourself. Ultimately, it is the best thing you can truly do for yourself. And it's a very interesting and scary journey because you definitely have to go on it alone. There's no person you can go down a self-love journey with rather than yourself. As again, that's why I realized I had to leave the relationship I was a part of and I had to just go find myself and start really embracing me for who I was, because I was just in a relationship with a person that didn't have any self-love themselves. And when two people lack self-love, oh man, that is not a good place for anyone to be, because there's just not enough love. And like relationships especially need love. So when you don't have a lot of it to give and the other person doesn't have a lot of it to give, it's just a relationship running on fumes yet again. Self-love is accepting the mistakes you made and realizing that they are mistakes and you're learning from them and you will grow. It's not about continuously beating yourself up for the mistakes you made and self-hating yourself for them. It's about realizing that you are a human and we all make mistakes and we all have to make mistakes to learn to be a better person and to grow. So self-love is truly embracing who you are as a person, all of the bads and the goods put together, and just saying, this is my human experience and I never said it was going to be perfect and I accept it for what it is. Self-love is also realizing that your thoughts might be very poisonous to you at this very moment, and you start to look at your thoughts and you start to pick apart your thoughts and you start to investigate your thoughts and realize that maybe you are self-hating with your self-talk in your head, or even when you're talking outwardly. I just saw this post on Instagram where the guy was like, stop saying I'm down, because like literally I got invited to go to MB2 last night and I was like, I'm down. Like I say it all the time. Everyone I think says I'm down right now. It's like a thing. But he was like, stop saying that. Like, you're telling your brain subconsciously, like, I'm down. Like, it's or it's a really bad thing to actually say, and I really never thought of it like that. So now I'm going to start saying I'm up. Like, I'm up. People are going to think I'm weird, but you know what? Spreading that positive vibes only tribe right here, okay? I'm up. That's our new thing, guys. So if you're down to give yourself some, if you're up to give yourself some self-love, then I'm up with you. Self-love is genuinely taking care of your body. Like, not in an aesthetic way. Like, not in a way of trying to get as many likes and followers and blah, 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 blah. It's just by genuinely realizing that this is your vehicle throughout this lifetime. Like, this is your body. Like, this is what you're stuck with. Like, you're either gonna make it to 100 or not, but either way, like, this body has to take care of you the whole time. So you really need to take care of it, because if you don't take care of it, you're really just hurting yourself, which is self-hate. Like, there's so many examples. Okay, so when it comes to the teeth thing, this is my greatest example, because I was molested as a kid, and I did not put the psychology together that's why you start letting go of your dental hygiene, because it's like a very unattractive thing when you don't have beautiful teeth. So it's like your body trying to protect itself from those things never happening to you, for those things never happening to you again. But at the end of the day, like, you're punishing yourself for something that happened to you. So it's really not healthy either way, yet again. So for me, I would stall going to the dentist all the time. Like, I'd always come up with an excuse as to why I didn't need to go to the dentist, and then I'd get to the dentist and be really disappointed by, like, how badly, like, I've been taking care of myself in a sense. And it was this last dentist appointment where I went to, where I was just like, this is the last time I'm ever doing this. Like, these are my teeth forever. Like, what the fuck am I doing? And then my dad told me that thing, and then I was like, I've been self-hating myself, and I need to be self-loving myself. Like, why am I punishing myself for something that happened to me? Nothing that I chose to happen to me. Like, it literally happened to me, and I'm going to punish myself more for that? No. No, 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 no. Self-love is learning how to trust yourself. So I genuinely know that I don't trust myself, or I hadn't trusted myself for a very long time by the decisions I made. And that's a really shitty feeling when you can't even trust yourself, because, like, who else do you think you can trust in this lifetime if you can't even trust yourself? And ways to realize if you can trust yourself or not is if, when you say you're gonna do something and, like, you know you're not gonna do something because you know your behavior, that's when you can't trust yourself, because you know that, like, you can't follow through with the commitment you have for yourself. And I do this all the time, and it's so terrible. Like, it is so freaking horrible that I do this to myself and people around me. Because even when, like, you say you're gonna stop doing this thing because you know it's really unhealthy for you, but you just can't stop doing it anyway, that's self-hate, not self-love. Like, if you can't even do something that you say you're gonna do for yourself, that is, like, the definition of self-hate. Like, you need to learn how to trust yourself. You need to learn how to go by your own word for yourself, because if you don't trust yourself, you'll never trust anyone else in this lifetime. Like, learn to trust yourself, and that is, again, self-love. So yeah, I think I got the self-love thing down in this video for you guys. There's so much more that goes to self-love, and that's why I felt like this was a necessary video to make, because when you really think about the layers of self-love, it's such a deep relationship and connection that's gonna take a long time to learn and grow and to use in your life. And I'm just on, God, I'm like barely on 6 months of this self-love journey. And do I love myself more than I loved myself 6 months ago? Fuck yeah. Do I love myself more than 6 months ago? Jesus, that's not even a question. But it's not been an easy journey. It is a very difficult journey, but it is the most beneficial journey I've ever been on. Like, I think now I might love myself 15 to 20%. Marissa is striving for 100%, maybe 110%. So that way I'm just oozing of love. Like, I just want to be to a point in my life where I just can't give enough love to people. Like, I have so much love to give that like, I can't wait for that emotion, because I already feel so loving and good now, and I know that like I'm really not even like genuinely like self-loving myself as much as I will in the next 6 months. So I just like can't wait for, I'm so excited for that mindset and that mind frame, because it's a different freaking world when you start to love yourself and take care of yourself rather than rely on other people to do it for you. Because I used to rely on everyone for my self-love. Like, I used to rely on compliments. I used to rely on different people's opinions. I just used to rely on the world for my self-worth and self-love, when like the only person that has to validate it for me is me. And that's like the trippiest thing to think about. It's also the truest thing, because at the end of the day, like, the only person that's really here with me is me. No one else. Like, no one else is dying with me. Like, this is a relationship I gotta focus on, and that you should focus on for yourself, because that way, when you do get in another relationship, or when you do get to the next chapter of your life, you're just ready. Like, you're just like, I have all this love to give. Do you want some? And they're gonna be like, hell yeah, I want some love from you. Get over here. But yeah, so I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I really hope that this kind of gave you guys a little bit more insight as to why I'm so passionate about self-love. And I'm really excited to share this journey with you guys. I'm really excited to hear about your guys' self-love journey. I feel like self-love is about to be a huge topic, and I'm just so excited for the world to start loving more, and for this to be more self-loving environment. Okay guys, well, I hope you have a great evening, and don't forget, you are what you think about. So, self-love. Self-love, remember that tonight. Remember, when you're thinking certain things, is this self-love or is this self-hate? Alright guys, bye!